On the cold, starry night of April 14, 1912, the world witnessed one of the most haunting tragedies in maritime history, the sinking of the RMS Titanic. Hailed as the most luxurious and technologically advanced ship of its time, Titanic was more than a marvel of engineering, it was a floating symbol of human ambition, confidence, and social division. Dubbed unsinkable by the press and proudly marketed as the safest vessel ever built, the Titanic set sail from Southampton with over 2,200 passengers and crew aboard, bound for New York. But just 4 days into its maiden voyage, that promise was shattered. After striking an iceberg in the North Atlantic, the massive ship disappeared beneath the icy waves, taking more than 1,500 lives with it. Over a century later, while much has been studied and explained, the Titanic continues to raise questions that remain unanswered, clues buried not only beneath the sea, but deep within history itself. Constructed in the shipyards of Belfast by Harland and Wolff, Titanic was a testament to early 20th century innovation and opulence. At 882 feet in length and weighing over 46,000 tons, it was equipped with grand dining halls, lavish staterooms, Turkish baths, a squash court, a barber shop, and even a swimming pool, luxuries unheard of on most ships of the time. It wasn't merely a ship, it was a floating palace. While the upper decks served the wealthiest elites of Europe and America, the lower decks carried hundreds of immigrants chasing the promise of a new life across the Atlantic. For many, the Titanic was a dream come true. For others, it became a nightmare from which they would never awaken. The official account tells us that Titanic struck an iceberg at 11:40 p.m. on April 14, tearing a fatal gash into her starboard side. But long before that collision, there were signs, ignored warnings that now seem eerily prophetic. On the very day of the disaster, Titanic received at least 6 ice warnings from nearby ships. Many were either dismissed or not delivered to the bridge at all. Was it simple negligence? Or did something more deliberate contribute to the delay? As theories evolved over the decades, some experts began to question whether the iceberg was even the sole cause. A little-known fact is that a coal fire had broken out in one of Titanic's boiler rooms even before she left port. This fire reportedly burned for days, weakening a section of the hull, coincidentally, the very area where the iceberg struck. Photographic evidence from before the voyage shows a long, dark streak along the hull, precisely at the impact zone. Could the blaze have compromised the ship's integrity, turning a glancing blow into a catastrophic rupture? If so, was this danger knowingly ignored to preserve the ship's pristine image? As if the tragedy weren't mysterious enough, darker theories have emerged, some bordering on conspiracy. One of the most enduring is the so-called Olympic switch theory. It suggests that Titanic was not Titanic at all. Instead, the theory claims that the White Star Line secretly swapped her with her near-identical sister ship, the RMS Olympic, which had been damaged in an earlier collision and was uninsurable. Desperate to recover costs, the company allegedly disguised Olympic as Titanic, intending to sink her in a controlled accident and collect the insurance money. While this theory has been widely debated and remains unproven, it raises chilling questions. Why did so many high-profile passengers, including financier J.P. Morgan, who owned the White Star Line, cancel their bookings just days before departure? Why do some photographs from the time show inconsistencies in window placements and hull features? Was it all coincidence, or was there a deeper deception at play? The sense of eerie foreboding doesn't end there. In 1898, 14 years before Titanic's sinking, a little-known author named Morgan Robertson wrote a novella titled Futility. In this story, a British luxury liner named Titan, deemed unsinkable, collides with an iceberg in the North Atlantic in April and sinks, with massive loss of life. The similarities to Titanic are uncanny, the name, the size, the location, the timing, even the shortage of lifeboats. Too specific to dismiss as mere coincidence. Then there were the premonitions. Several passengers reportedly dreamed of disaster before the voyage. Some even cancelled their trips or disembarked at the last moment, claiming a sense of dread. One woman, a survivor, later described feeling a strange sense of doom while boarding the ship. Were these simply subconscious anxieties, or something more profound, an intuitive warning of the fate that lay ahead? Even in the aftermath, the full truth seems elusive. The official inquiries conducted by the United States and the United Kingdom were rushed, inconsistent, and in many cases, oddly restrained. Critical crew members gave vague or contradictory testimonies. Some documents vanished. Others were sealed. One critical detail often overlooked is the locked cabinet containing the ship's binoculars. The key, held by an officer reassigned before the voyage, was never passed on, leaving the lookout scanning the dark sea with only their eyes. Many believe this contributed directly to the late sighting of the iceberg. Then there's the SS Californian, a nearby ship that may have seen Titanic's distress rockets. Yet, for reasons still unclear, it never responded. Was it incompetence, or something more sinister? Today, the Titanic lies broken in two, 12,500 feet below the surface, preserved in the silent cold of the Atlantic. Its story is taught in schools, told in books, and retold in films. But beneath the legend lies a labyrinth of unanswered questions. Was the sinking truly an accident caused by human arrogance? Or was it the result of deliberate choices, covered up to protect powerful interests? Were there warnings that went unheeded? Or did fate itself conspire to bring down the greatest ship ever built? One thing is certain, the Titanic is more than a shipwreck. It is a symbol, a mystery that continues to stir the imagination of the world. Every year, new pieces of evidence emerge from the depths, but the core questions remain unresolved. The Titanic may have sunk in 1912, but its story is far from over.